Hey guys, so today I want to speak to you guys in the capacity as a former Soviet citizen. And there's a reason for that. I'm going to just start off with a statement. And the statement is as follows: Bolsheviks do not get voted out from power. I'm going to repeat it again. Bolsheviks do not get removed from power. Folks, who are Bolsheviks? Who were the Bolsheviks? They were the group that were organized by Vladimir Lenin. And it's interesting because they were called the Bolsheviks, right? Because there were the Bolsheviks and there were the Mensheviks. Bolsheviki, meaning the name implies as being part of the majority or representing the majority. But here's the crazy part, guys. Bolsheviks represented, at the time that they were, about 5 or 10% of the population at best. So 5 to 10% of the population managed to instill, terror and or force the rest of the population into doing what they wanted them to do, or to behave how they wanted them to behave, or to say or not say the things that they wanted them to say, to believe or espouse the things that they wanted them to espouse, or at least to go along with these things because they knew that people would fear losing, their livelihood, their standing, etc., etc. Human nature. They did everything to play into human nature and to manipulate the population. This is 5 to 10% of the population that did this to others, the rest of the population. So, my friends, you can pretty much figure out what I'm describing. What I'm describing is this woke scourge that has engulfed society, right? And the woke scourge has co-opted a particular political party, Democrats. It has co-opted the media. It's co-opted I guess, Hollywood. It's co-opted every sphere of society, public sphere, to the point where I actually said, I wrote, sorry, I'm just, I guess, a little bit stuffed up. I wrote on my Instagram, Bolsheviks don't get voted out. And this gentleman, who I guess he self-proclaimed kind of centrist Democrat, messaged me and he said, "That's an ignorant statement, da-da-da." He goes, he said, "Even centrist Democrats?" And I had to explain to him, I'm like, well, centrist Democrats are not the people who are leading what I'm describing. They're not the leaders of it. That's first of all. Second of all, I'm not referring to people like yourself, regular citizens. I'm referring to the leaders. You're not up on the ballot. I'm talking about the people who are up on the ballot, or who are trying to stay in power, right, via so-called elections, folks. So this is what we have here. We have 5 to 10% of the population, a small segment of a particular political side or particular party, right? Or particular, let's say, hue, on the spectrum that has taken power, has taken ideological power, social power, psychological power. In Hebrew, we call it the ruach. They've managed to hijack the ruach, the spirit of this particular side of the political, spectrum. And it's even gotten to a point where they've managed to convince everybody that if you don't believe what they believe, that you are actually, not only are you just like, a political opponent, you're actually not normal. That you're the extremist, that you're the freak, that you're the, right-wing extremist, that you're the, you're the one that should be, what is it called? Banned on social media and shadow banned and censored, etc., etc. Folks, they've managed to psyop, for sure, the world, definitely the country. Okay? My friends, why am I telling you all this? I mean, you kind of know this already. I mean, this stuff has been spoken about for a while. Well, guys, I just watched a video from a gentleman by the name of Mike Benz who appeared on the show called Valuetainment. I forget the name of the host. He's like this kind of Persian, I guess he's a Persian Christian, Iranian Christian guy. And Mike Benz outlined something that was that happened in 2020. I think it was just before the George Floyd situation, where basically they ran a simulation. Who's they? High-ranking Democrats, high-ranking and officials in the political echelons and also the military and intelligence echelons. They ran a simulation. Basically, I'm not going to go into super detail, but basically how to make it so that Trump doesn't take office. Meaning, if he loses, quote unquote loses, and or wins, let's say wins the electoral college, or even if he outright wins the electoral and the popular vote, how to basically make sure, convince the people that this person is not legitimate, not only convince the people, but also how to mobilize these forces like such as Antifa, BLM, etc., to cause havoc in the streets, and basically to get to the people, regular population like you and me, to a point where we clamor for a different type of government, which would, of course, keep these people in power. My friends, these people are Bolsheviks. These people are Bolsheviks. Some of them are actually communists. Like some of them actually believe in communism. Some of them, I don't know if they believe in communism. Some of them are just, what you call either deep state kind of capitalist or corporate fascists, whatever, right? Or they kind of kowtow to fit into the corporate fascist system, right? Where the government and corporations are in cahoots with each other. Whether or not they're communists, it's immaterial, but they are for sure Bolsheviks. They have the tactics of Bolshevik people. Not only that, folks, they are Gnostic fruitcakes, right? They have a particular religion. That religion has nothing to do with Hashem or Torah or anything of the sort, or Bible. They engage in very, as we know, fruity rituals, and they do things with kids and all this kind of thing. Folks, I mean, you realize why they can't have, apart from the political aspect and the economic and let's say political and economic disagreements, so to speak, or chasm between them and let's say Trump or any other conservative. They cannot have the person who may send half of them to prison to get into office, right? So what would you do if you were them? You would scratch tooth and nail. You would do something like stare into the camera or look at a journalist who asks you about a Dominion voting machines, and you would tell them, yeah, they don't work, and what are you going to do about it? Folks, that's what the Secretary of State of Michigan did the other day. She said, yeah, they all have problems, and that's just for voters to deal with. You got to deal with it. The Dominion machines, they all have problems with the, down the line voting, right? They don't generate, if you vote down the line for, let's say, Trump and like every Republican, it's going to shift it over to the Democrats, right? They have problems. Okay, yeah, it's nationwide. We have a problem. Oh, we didn't know about that. Oh, yeah, we're working to make sure that there's no issues. And she's smirking and looking at this reporter and smirking. Folks, they have no shame. They have no shame. In their minds, they are totally, first of all, justified. Let's say if you take away all the fruity things that they're involved in and stuff that they should go to jail for, just ideologically speaking, they have justified it for themselves in their own heads that they are the good guys, right? Folks, and this is, and their tactics are straight out of not only Bolsheviks in the Soviet Union, but out of the Red Guard in China, during the so-called Cultural Revolution, during Mao. Folks, this is what this has been. And please trust me when I tell you, granted, I was 6 years old when we left the Soviet Union. My parents are the ones that experienced this for the first 33 years of their life. And granted, even by them, it was during a time called ottepel, the thaw, right? When there was a little bit loosened policies, but not too much, right? And restrictions, but everything was still under the control of the government. Propaganda, which was basically, it was like new propaganda news, essentially. Price controls, inventory control. Folks, I don't have to tell you about the Soviet Union, right? Or maybe I do. So, but still, they had a government that gaslit them, lied to their face, hid things from them, denied them certain goods and services, literally denied it to them, kept it for themselves, hoarded it for themselves. Folks, I was a kid, I didn't know any better, right? But I'm telling you right now, just from what I heard from them, and personal, what you would call anecdotal things, and other people who lived in that system, and the fact that they were forced to learn about all kinds of different Marxist and communistic systems around the world. They had to learn about this stuff, folks, from since kindergarten until pretty much the end of university. Okay, so folks, trust me when I tell you, these people that we're looking at today in America, they are not going to go quietly. Not only will they not go quietly, I personally think that they're gonna stoke internal strife in this country. I don't want to use the word, with the abbreviation CW. Like, I have a friend in Israel who suspects that America, there are going to be certain states that will secede. We're gonna have a balkanization of this country. I hope not. I hope not. But my friends, this is Leninism part 2. This is what this is. Bolshevism part 2. They didn't go away. They went into hiding. And if you think, by the way, that there weren't people who were sympathizers of that previous movement 100 years ago, actually more than 100 years ago, if you think that there weren't many people in America who were sympathizers with it, you're sadly mistaken. Watch the movie Reds, my friends, with, what the hell's his name? Warren Beatty. Dick Tracy? Watch the movie Reds, my friends. Sit down and watch it. Diane Keaton and Warren Beatty, if I'm not mistaken. My friends, we have 5 days to the election, but to be honest with you, it's not going to be. First of all, it's not going to be decided in 5 days. Second of all, it ain't at this point. It ain't even about the election. It's about what's going to happen after the election and what we are about to witness, my friends. With that said, I just want to say, listen, there's always the possibility of miracles. There's always a possibility of just outright, what do they call it? Too big to rig? Not only too big to rig, but something where, even the popular vote is so overwhelming that no one can say anything. Unless they want to come out and say, maybe external government once again did, helped Trump steal. But listen, guys, that's always a possibility. But in the event that we don't get a miracle, I'm telling you right now, watch what these Bolsheviks do. Watch what they do. All right, guys. I think I've made my point. Talk to you soon.